Most people spend their lives trying to control everything. He became free the moment he stopped. Chuang Tzu, an ancient Chinese philosopher who figured out something most people die without learning. The harder you try to control life, the more trapped you become. And real freedom doesn't come from getting what you want. It comes from not needing to control anything at all. Most people think that sounds like giving up, like weakness, like letting life happen to you instead of making things happen. But what Chuang Tzu discovered was the complete opposite. And it could change everything about how you're living right now. So let's go back. About 2400 years ago, ancient China, society is obsessed with rules, with order, with doing things the right way. Confucius is teaching people about duty and respect and following the proper path. Everyone's stressed, trying to be good, trying to fit in, trying to control their lives according to all these rules. And right in the middle of all this is Chuang Tzu, watching, thinking, and laughing, because he sees something everyone else is missing. All this effort to control life, to make it perfect, to force everything into order, it's making people miserable. They're so busy trying to live correctly that they're not actually living at all. So he starts teaching a different way. Not rules, not systems, not trying harder, just letting go, flowing with life instead of fighting it, being like water instead of being like stone. And people think he's crazy. They say he's lazy, irresponsible, that he's teaching people to give up. But Chuang Tzu isn't teaching giving up. He's teaching something much deeper. Something that most people are too busy controlling to ever understand. He tells this story. There's a butcher who's been cutting meat for 19 years and his knife is still sharp. Someone asks him how, and he says, "I don't fight the meat. I find the spaces between the bones, the places where the knife naturally goes. I let the knife do what it wants to do, so it never gets dull." That's the lesson. When you force things, when you fight against reality, you wear yourself out. But when you find the natural way, when you work with life instead of against it, everything becomes easy, effortless, free. Chuang Tzu said, "The perfect man uses his mind like a mirror. It grasps nothing. It refuses nothing. It receives but does not keep." What does that mean? It means stop trying to hold on to everything. Stop trying to make everything permanent. Stop trying to control outcomes you can't control. Just experience things. Let them come, let them go. Like a mirror reflects whatever's in front of it, but doesn't try to keep the image. This sounds simple, but it's the hardest thing most people will ever try to do, because we're trained to grip, to control, to hold on tight. We think that's how you succeed, how you protect yourself, how you get what you want. But Chuang Tzu saw that all that gripping just creates suffering. You hold on to pleasure and suffer when it ends. You hold on to people and suffer when they change. You hold on to plans and suffer when they don't work out. The tighter you grip, the more you suffer. So he taught the opposite. Hold everything loosely. Enjoy it while it's here. Let it go when it leaves. Don't fight change. Don't resist reality. Just flow with it. He told another story. There's a tree growing crooked and ugly, so ugly that no carpenter will cut it down. And because nobody cuts it down, it lives for hundreds of years. All the beautiful straight trees get cut and used. But the useless tree lives on. The lesson? Sometimes what looks like a weakness is actually freedom. Sometimes not being valuable by society's standards means you get to just exist, to be yourself, to live without everyone trying to use you or change you or make you into something you're not. Chuang Tzu himself lived this way. He was offered high positions, power, status, and he turned them all down. because he saw that success comes with chains, expectations, pressure, control. And he valued freedom more than success. He said, "I would rather be a turtle dragging its tail in the mud than a famous turtle shell displayed in a palace. Better to be alive and free than dead and honored. Better to be yourself and ignored than important and trapped. Better to have nothing and be happy than have everything and be controlled by it." Now people criticized him for this. They said he was wasting his potential, that he could do so much more, help so many people, make such a difference. But Chuang Tzu didn't care about their standards. He cared about being free. And freedom meant not needing to prove anything to anyone. This is where he completely breaks from normal philosophy. Most teachers tell you how to succeed, how to be better, how to achieve more, how to control your life and get what you want. But Chuang Tzu says all of that is just more chains, more ways to trap yourself. Real freedom is not needing any of it. Not needing to succeed by society's standards, not needing to prove yourself, not needing to control outcomes, just being okay with whatever happens, flowing with it instead of fighting it. He said, life is like a dream. While you're in it, you think it's real. You think it matters so much. You stress and fight and try to control everything. But when you wake up, you realize it was just a dream. None of it was as serious as you thought. What if you could live with that perspective now? What if you could see that all the things you're stressing about, all the outcomes you're trying to control, all the things you think you need, what if you could see them as less serious, as just part of the flow? Would you still hold on so tight? Now let's bring this to your life, because you're probably gripping right now, trying to control things you can't control. Making yourself miserable by fighting reality instead of flowing with it. Think about your career. You probably have a plan, a goal, an idea of where you should be by a certain age. And when reality doesn't match that plan, you stress. You feel behind. You feel like you're failing. You fight against where you actually are because it's not where you think you should be. Chuang Tzu would say, let go of the plan. Not let go of effort. Not give up on growth. But let go of the rigid idea that life has to look a specific way by a specific time. Maybe the path you're on is better than the one you planned. Maybe the detours are teaching you something. Maybe trying to force a specific outcome is just making you miss what's actually happening. Or think about relationships. You probably want people to act certain ways, to meet your needs, to be who you want them to be. And when they don't, you're disappointed, frustrated, you try to change them, control them, make them fit your expectations. Chuang Tzu would say, stop. People are who they are. You can't control them. You can only control whether you accept them or not. And trying to change them is just fighting reality. Let them be themselves. If that works for you, great. If it doesn't, let them go. But stop trying to make water flow uphill. Here's another one. You're probably worried about the future. About money, about security, about what might go wrong. So you try to control everything. Plan for every possibility. Protect yourself from every risk. And all that control just makes you anxious, tense, unable to enjoy today because you're so worried about tomorrow. Chuang Tzu would say, you're wasting your life. Tomorrow isn't here. It might never come. And even if it does, you can't control it. So why spend today suffering over something that doesn't exist? Just be here. Handle what's actually in front of you. Trust that you'll handle tomorrow when it comes. This isn't being irresponsible, it's being present. It's not wasting your energy on imaginary problems, it's saving it for real ones. Here's what Chuang Tzu understood that most people don't. Control is an illusion. You think you're in control. You think if you just plan enough, work hard enough, try hard enough, you can make life go the way you want. But you can't. Life does what it does. And all your effort to control it just exhausts you. Real power isn't controlling life. It's being okay with however life unfolds. That's freedom. That's peace. That's what actually lets you enjoy the time you have, instead of spending it fighting battles you can't win. He told one more story. A man falls off a waterfall, should be dead, but he swims out completely fine. Someone asks him how he survived. And he says, "I didn't fight the water, I let it take me. I went where it went. I moved with it instead of against it. So it didn't hurt me." That's the whole teaching. Life is the waterfall. You can fight it and drown, or you can flow with it and survive. The choice is yours. But fighting never works. It just makes everything harder. Most people spend their entire lives fighting. Fighting to succeed. Fighting to be right. Fighting to get what they want. Fighting to keep what they have. Fighting reality every single day. And they wonder why they're exhausted, why they're miserable, why nothing feels easy. Chuang Tzu would say, it's because you're swimming against the current. And no matter how strong you are, the current is stronger. So either you learn to flow with it, or you drown. Those are your options. This doesn't mean be passive. It means be strategic. Work with reality instead of against it. Accept what you can't change. Focus on what you can. And most importantly, stop making your happiness depend on controlling things you'll never control. That's the freedom Chuang Tzu found. Not freedom from responsibility, not freedom from effort, but freedom from the need to control everything. Freedom to just be, to flow, to live without constantly fighting reality. Most people will never find this. They'll keep gripping, keep fighting, keep thinking if they just try harder, if they just control more, if they just force things enough. Eventually, life will bend to their will, and they'll die exhausted, disappointed, and still trying. But you can be different. You can let go, not give up. Just stop fighting what you can't change. Stop gripping what you can't hold. Stop trying to control what was never yours to control in the first place. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's what Chuang Tzu discovered 2,400 years ago. And it's still true, still waiting, still offering freedom to anyone brave enough to stop fighting and start flowing. Subscribe for more ancient wisdom that actually frees you.